detachment, what's called detachment, okay? And this is a very, very important spiritual quality to start developing. And the death awareness meditation is a very good one for helping you develop that, because you will at death lose everything. You will at death lose everything. And one of the other things I'll talk about after I rant and rail a little bit about all your attachments for a while, we'll talk about how to help other people die properly and how to die properly yourself. And one of the components of that will be to encourage people who are dying to do what you should be doing as a spiritual practitioner a long time before you die. And that is to let go, to ease up on your death grip on things and people that you cannot keep. Things are impermanent. Remember, we talked about that, right? Things are empty of having permanence. And a death awareness meditation, really sort of is supposed to get that clear in your mind. You will die. You will lose everything. There's nothing in this life that you can keep except for one thing. There's only one thing that you can take with you. And it's not your money, and it's not your possessions, and it's not your job. It's not your relationships. It's the spiritual energy that is driving you. The spiritual energy that more momentum that's moving you in one direction or another. That's the only thing that you can take with you. That is what will determine what happens after death. In our tradition, and I think it's not alone in the Buddha, I think that many Hindu traditions have a similar idea. Traditions that believe in rebirth, that assume rebirth. Many of them argue that the last moment is absolutely determinative. The last moment of consciousness in one life is absolutely determinative of what happens next. I mean, this is kind of like just how causality works, actually. The immediate cause of this moment of mind, the present moment of mind, is the immediate past moment of mind, the previous moment of mind. So the last moment of mind in this life will flop over into the first moment of consciousness in the next life. So it's kind of like I said before, I think, this whole life is just practice for showtime. This is all just practice for that last moment. And that last moment is kind of like a summary of pretty much everything that you've been. That last moment is the condensation of the kind of energy that you've been, like the direction of the energy that you've been cultivating your whole life. So detachment means that, doesn't mean, sometimes they also say renunciation, and then people get really, really nervous when you say that. Detachment is bad enough. But then you say renunciation, and we go, oh no, I have to give up stuff, But detachment just means that you are actually living in more conformity to the case, to the realities of the situation. You do not own things. You do not actually own things. No, but I bought them. I paid for them. I own them. You see, I don't care if you paid for them. I don't care if the mortgage is paid off. I don't care if the car loan's paid off. You don't own them actually, in the way that you think you do. Which is like, well, they're mine, I control them, I have possession of them and control over them. And that's just not the case. What's the proof of that? Very, very simple. You can lose them at any time. Outside your will, you see. Apart from your will, you can lose them and they can be stripped away from you at any time. And in fact, they will be stripped away from you at some point, okay? It's not a matter of, if, it's a matter of when. Every time we have something, every time we buy something, we'll just talk about possessions for now, okay? We'll leave people for next. But every time we buy something, the clock starts ticking on it as to when we'll lose it. And as I've mentioned several times now in the course of this week, lots of ways to lose things. We will lose things. We will lose everything, for sure. But there's lots and lots of ways to lose things. You can have them, stolen. You can have them break. You can have them not work anymore. Or most likely, you can just get sick of them. You just get sick of them, you get bored of them, and then you lost them as a important component of your life. Then they become junk. Then it becomes something like you have to try and get rid of instead of like something that that you want to own. People are just like that. We do not own people, okay? And this is one of the biggest, I think, single most nasty mistakes of our culture, is this kind of like constant reinforcement of thinking the way to show love for another person is to like feel like you own them, to show how much you're attached to them is the sort of cipher, the sort of gauge of how much you love them. And that's just wrong. It's just wrong. I love you so much, don't talk to him. Because you're mine. I love you. Don't. Why were you having lunch with her? I love you. Why are you doing that kind of thing that seems to make you happy? I love you. You shouldn't do that. Right. Yeah, and then you go like, well, wait a minute. What's wrong with that picture? You see, if you love somebody, let them be free. Let go. Let go of them. See, and that's just that just will make you happier. It will just make you happier. I've mentioned before this image, very potent image that's in the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Our unhappiness is largely just holding on to the coal, the burning coal, and grasping it harder and harder and harder, and going, ouch, 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 I'm burning. What should I do? Oh my God, I'm so unhappy. I'm so distressed. I have such big mental afflictions. What should I do? What should I do? And then someone comes along and says, let go. Let go of the coal. And you go, no, I can't let go. I can't let go. I don't want to let go. Well, until you let go, you will be burning, you see. No, but I don't want to. I've always held it. You see, it's mostly that way. I've never actually tried letting go. So I don't know, that would be a big leap, wouldn't it? I've never done that before. I don't know. I've always done this, and I know this. I know this reality. I know this experience. And it's just so habituated and so comfortable to suffer. In a way, that's it. We're kind of like comfortable in our suffering. We're kind of inured to it. Even when we feel it very, very greatly, we say, well, at least this is the thing I know. What's that expression? He may be an a-hole, but he's our hale, right? He's our, he's our like problematic person. It's the devil you know is worse than the devil you don't know. Okay, so it's like, what should I do? What should I do? How can I stop my suffering? And you've got to let it go. You've got to let go. You've got to stop the death grip. And that death grip is on all kinds of things in our lives. This is like one of the main causes. This is one way of thinking about why we're suffering, actually, is that we're constantly grasping on to things, to people, to expectations about what should be. This is the way it should be. Oh, it didn't turn out that way. Oh, I'm so unhappy. You see? We're grasping on to our plans, like what's going to happen. And then it never turns out that way, actually. Right. You see, if you stop to think about it, I'll talk more about this weekend too. But, we're sitting around like planning, thinking about the future, anticipating and stuff like that, all the time thinking about these things. And it never turns out the way we thought it would be, ever. At least in its details, and almost always in its like broad strokes too. Think about this in your own life. We were kind of doing an experiment like this morning, some of us. 5-10 years ago, would you thought that your life would look like this now? Would you thought it would look like anything like this now? See, 5-10 years ago, like, could you have ever imagined that things would be like this? And you go like, no. But so why is now different? Why do you think that you can imagine accurately what your life is going to be in the future from this vantage point? So just give it up. Let go. And say, I don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen in the future. I'm not worried about it. Why should I worry about it? What's the point? I'm just spacing out on my present by hallucinating about what could happen in the future, which won't happen that way anyway. And I'm unhappy. What should I do? What should I do? I'm so unhappy. See? Let go.